Hello, everybody, and welcome to Adrift in Aldhalor, our weekly actual play show set in our homebrew world of Aradun. Sorry for our lateness. Usually it's because we're just trash pandas, but today it was because of Discord, and Discord being wrong. But it's right now, so welcome. And our music for the stream is licensed through musicbed.com, and our ambience is typically through TabletopAudio or Syrinscape, or both. I'm going to bring Shannon on board here.
Who?
In a moment.
Who's that?
I don't know. Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Well, it says Shannon on your card.
Oh, it does? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's me. Hi!
So,
Hello!
speak.
I am speaking.
Speak of the
Elephants.
partners.
I shall
You're
do
the
that.
speaker of the partners.
All right. I'm going to speak about the partners. Here we go, starting with Arcane Spectacles. Enhance your TTRPG and D&D games using Arcane Spectacles dice sets made in collaboration with Die Hard Dice. With a variety of set colors, you can elevate your gaming experience to your liking. Don't settle for ordinary dice when you can have top quality sets from Arcane Spectacles and Die Hard Dice. Roll the dice and upgrade your gaming gear today. Visit them at arcanespectacles.com for those dice and lots of their other amazing products. Next, we have Underground Oracle Publishing. They are a best-selling, Emmy-nominated TTRPG publisher building new and exciting settings for the cipher system of every genre you can imagine. Each setting includes everything you need to explore its unique world, including lore, species, descriptors, foci, creatures, ciphers, artifacts, and all of the rules that you need to play. Their current focus and recent Kickstarter success is Harrow the Blighted Plain, a crystal punk fantasy setting filled with fungal oases, massive sand seas, and long-buried magitech. For as little as $3, you can join their Patreon and help shape Harrow in each of the worlds that they create. Next up is Edward Yorke, our original character artist for us here in Paradice. He is an illustrator based in the UK who makes art for games and books. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eyorke.com. Last but not least, we have 1985 Games. They create affordable, accessible, high-quality accessories for D&D and other tabletop role-playing games. Our wonderful DM here uses their NPC cards to help build amazing NPCs in this world, and they're pretty amazing. So if you'd like to purchase those or any of their other wares, make sure you use the code ParadiceProd for 10% off your entire order. Yeah, that's all the partners. Now I shall speak of the miscellaneous things. Join us on Discord if you haven't already. We've got recaps on there, although I think this week's is going to be a little late, and that's okay. But we've got recaps for all the other episodes that we've had for season 2 and all of campaign 2. All of season 2 of campaign 1 are there. And yeah, so just join us on Discord. We'd love to have you. If you'd like to sponsor an episode or two of Adrift in Aldhalor, shoot us an email at paradicerpg@gmail.com. And find us on socials at all the places, not only here on Twitch, but also Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Instagram, and TikTok. Do you need me to vamp some more, Sean? You look like you're focusing on something.
Nope, I'll be good.
You're good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then let's do this thing.
Okay. Where the hell did I put that?
Okay. Bring everybody on.
There it is. Oh, yeah. That part. Oh, and there they are. There
they are.
In all their glory. All right. Last we met in the land of Ezha on the Aldhalor Islands. Our adventurers split up to investigate some mysterious men that seemed to be threatening the families of the sick in Billowgrass and Reykjavik. Fyrn, Septimus, and Bruce returned to the town to wait until later in the morning to return to the Broad Ripple farm and talk to Tora, the sister of Davin. Jaquet and Saskia followed the two men northwest away from the farm. Our sneaky pair followed them for quite some time before nearly losing them in a field of tall grass. Jaquet went around to find elevation to see if he could spot anything to the north, while Sass entered the grass with the invisibility spell cast upon her. Though they did lose track of the two men, Jaquet did see an old abandoned farmhouse by the northern forest line. They went on foot to investigate, but they found themselves entering a dangerous forest after noticing a man watching them in the trees. A carefully laid trap, it would seem, as the two caught up with the man. They found themselves ambushed. In the process, Sass's eldritch tentacle brutally killed one of the bandits, and this brutality sunk her heart, and she froze. Jaquet also killed one of the bandits in an effort to get Sass out of trouble by leaping from a tree and brandishing 2 daggers into their neck. After this, they ran like hell, as bandits followed them from the forest line. Back in town, Fyrn and the nerds head to Tora and Davin's farm. She welcomed them and answered their questions about the bandit ring and the sickness. Ultimately, they went to Davin to start trying out solutions. In the process, Bruce discovered the medicine of the bandits were selling was an addictive substance and likely the cause of the sickness in the first place. Septimus used his detect magic to sense an elemental presence within the sick man, Davin, and then each contributed an element to an experimental banishing ritual. Septimus used the banish spell. Fyrn used some scavenged magic conducting metal, and Bruce used a sapphire, all to bind the elemental within an emerald. All to bind the elemental from within Davin, and hopefully free him of the illness. It seemed to work, though explosively, as the metal of the magic conducting metal sent shrapnel shards all around, cutting into several of our heroes and the victim. But through Bruce's ability to heal with his magic healing brand, that's really just cure wounds. They patched each other up, and Davin as well. At this moment, his sister ran into the room, and he collapsed into her into a hug, awake but delirious somewhat. And in that moment, as Septimus's detect magic faded, he noticed that she, too, had an elemental presence within her. Back in the wilderness, Jaquet and Sass found themselves with temporary reprieve, having outrun the bandits for a small moment by a pond in the grasslands, with only the quiet wind in their thoughts. So, this is where we left off. Sass and Jaquet. The two of you find yourselves breathing heavily, panting, exhausted by this small pond. Sass, you fell to your knees by the water's edge and looked down to see your face in there. Jaquet, you, I'm assuming, just right behind her, looking to her, and you can see, Jaquet, now that you're kind of have a moment to breathe, that Sass is covered in the splatter of the blood of the neck of the bandits that you killed. Sass, you notice this blood kind of splattered all over.
Okay. So as I noticed this, the blood, I had just been like staring at my reflection in the pond, and just like frozen again now that we've stopped for a second. But then I noticed the blood, and it's suddenly like it feels like I can't breathe, and like it's like really hard to like draw in the breath. So I just like rip off my corset, and then I feel really sweaty and really hot at the same time, and but also like that like cold like clamminess. So then like corset's off, and then the shirt comes off, so I'm just in this my like an undershirt, and then I start washing my hands like really ferociously in the water, trying to get the blood off, and it kind of feels like it's going on my arms too. So the headscarf comes off, and I just start like scrubbing and just like really trying to get it up, but it's a muddy pond, so I'm just getting more and more dirty and just breathing really heavy this whole time.
Yeah, that's good. Clean off the blood before we go back into town. Jaquet looks at himself and has a little, so he is doing a much more refined job of getting the blood out, maybe actually using his water skin instead of the dirty pond water.
How are you not freaking the fuck out right now?
I
We
mean,
killed
come on.
people. We killed people. There are 2 people who are no longer alive because of us.
No, you killed someone. You did
So
more than
did
kill
you.
them.
So do you see this
No.
blood? I didn't do that.
Okay, people have survived far worse than a few daggers in the shoulder.
Yeah, okay. I don't think that
I'm sure
person did,
she's
though.
will be fine. Not right now, obviously. She's probably hurt.
Not with this amount of blood. No. And when I had pulled the headscarf off too, the eye patch is gone, so like my hair's a mess, but you can see my other eye, the cloudy green one. I'm a mess.
Right, so clean up a little, but we need to get going soon. We don't know how far the bandits will follow us.
This is the worst day of my life. It's the worst day of my life. How are you so calm right now?
Well, I'm just thinking in the present, in the moment, right now, and in the moment, we have people chasing us who want to kill us. So I'd rather they die than us.
Oh, so you want to kill more of them?
No.
More
I'm
of
not
them.
saying I want to
That's what
kill
it's-
more. No, I'm saying that they want to kill us. So in our defense, if we kill them...
fucking come off.
This Jaquet's gonna like take some reeds and like bind them together and start just scrubbing at it on her arms. And be like, okay, we really need to get going. We need to get to the others.
I can't
Let them know what
leave until it's
happened.
off. I don't even know what to do right now. I took somebody's life.
Yes,
And
and you
so
know
did
what?
you. And so did you. There are 2 people
We're
that
not
are
sure
dead.
about that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they're dead.
No, we know the one you attacked died. There's no confirmation on the bitch that attacked me, so just saying.
Do you have no heart?
Oh, I have a heart.
You're fucking heartless.
No, I have a heart. It just cares about me, not other people who are trying to kill me. Do you see this? And he like turns and like tries to show her the welt on the back of his head. That bitch hit me really fucking hard. It really
Yes,
hurt.
but you're alive.
It's almost like she
You're
should have
alive.
knocked me out in one
They're
hit.
not.
Yeah, well, that's what they get for being bad people, okay? Remember, they're extorting a woman for medicine for her sick brother,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay, yes, that's bad, but that doesn't mean they needed to die.
You're right, but it's not a terrible thing that they died because they would only hurt other people. They tried to kill us, Sass. They hurt us. They did. They shot crossbow bolts at us. They were
Yes,
more
but
than
we're
ready
still
to kill.
alive, Jaquet. What
Because-
don't you fucking understand about this?
We're alive because we're better than them, okay? We're
No.
alive because we deserve to be alive.
How are
because-
2 people that murdered other people better than the bad people?
Because we murdered them for a good reason. They
No,
were attacking us.
No, that
They
makes
were.
no
Have you
fucking
heard of
sense.
self-defense?
No.
You stupid woman! What is wrong with you? Okay?
You're a fucking asshole. Just
Doesn't matter. I'll keep you
Oh.
alive. Okay?
I can keep myself alive.
I highly doubt that.
Fuck off.
All right, fine. I'm not coming back for you though. And Jaquet starts to walk away.
You're a murderer too.
Can't prove that.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So, Jaquet, you're leaving.
Yes. He does do that thing where like every few feet he kind of pauses and looks over his shoulder a little bit, but
I'm
not
still
enough where if she
scrubbing the
was
fucking
looking, she would
blood off.
notice.
Mm-hmm.
But after he realizes that she's not moving or even watching him leave, he just kind of goes and starts walking back along the path into town.
Okay. Sass, you
Mm.
stay behind at this pond, some far distance off, just washing your arms. And...
Mhm.
Okay.
I think eventually, like, it's only so much, so much I can do. But eventually, like, after taking some deep breaths, like, plant my hands in the mud and just stare again at the reflection, and then realize I'm alone. I should probably start moving.
Yes. You would eventually look around and kind of feel the emptiness of this space with the air, the wind blowing through the tall grass, and it kind of looking like open water. There's grass all around you.
I'll take my amulet and say, thanks for protecting my heart. And then I'll stand up, just shaking, or I'll stand up quick, and then that thing happens when you like stand up too quick and you're like dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
And then gather up my my shirt and my corset and headscarf and start stumbling towards where I think the path is, but I've already gotten lost in this fucking grass once, so.
Well, you both need to stumble towards where you think it is.
Yeah.
But we're going to cut to the others at this point. There they are. So, somewhere else far off, the three of you are in the room as these two siblings hug each other. This woman is sort of wiping the sweaty hair out of Davin's face and kind of just like looking him in the eyes, seeing the blue has disappeared from the sickness, though he does still seem delirious at best. And Septimus, you notice that wisp within her as your detect magic fades. What would the three of you like to do?
After a while, just kind of like breathing, like kind of like relieved that this actually worked because he wasn't 100% sure. Septimus would get off his knees, kind of like stand up. He kind of just say to the other two, he's like, "Why don't we leave them alone for a minute?"
Oh,
as he kind of gestures to move into like the dining room so they could be alone for a sec.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Right. And so I guess as we make our way out, kind of like close the door behind them, let them have some moment. And when we're by ourselves, Septimus would then tell the other two, we may still have a bit of a problem here. Just the tail ends of the detect magic I had. I could see some traces within Tora as well. I'm afraid she may have it as well.
I was hoping we were done. Okay.
But I mean, she hasn't shown anything, so obviously we have a little bit of time, but I thought I'd at least let her have some, I guess, relief and not kind of bog her down immediately, so. But we should try to work to hopefully get her cured soon. Or at least, I don't know, find out where the other two are so we can reconvene and figure out how best to deal with the situation.
This is very concerning. The whole reason why we wanted Davin up was so he could tell us a little bit more than what we already know about the disease, right?
Yeah, and we'll get there. Just give them a moment.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if she has the disease as well, then what if it's something that can be caught like a cold? What if it just happens? Should we even be here?
That's hard to say.
Yeah, it's a good thought.
Again, it is true. Septimus kind of like just like putting his head in his hand, just kind of thinking like of the whole situation, trying to piece everything together because all the parts are not completely there.
All right, so that gem that I threw down, the emerald. I don't know. I read a little bit about gem storing elementals. I'm not super sure we could fit any more elemental juice or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the capacity is of a gem storing an elemental. I don't know if it's dependent on different factors. There's a lot of questions. I don't have the answers. I don't know if we should keep experimenting or...
We should at least secure ourselves and make sure the inn is safe before we continue to look and explore and experiment. Maybe we should be going around town and having Septimus check people out.
Let's do one thing at a time, one corner at a time. Let's first do what we're doing here, and then when we go back, then we can start making some rounds. But Septimus, while we're in here, do you think you could cast detect magic again? Or are you all juiced out, or?
If you give me a little bit of time, I can easily ritual it.
Yeah, I should probably stretch a little bit too.
But before I do that, Sean, how long would you say it's been since the party split up?
So it's been quite a while, since you all kind of also took some time, back in town. So I would say since you like truly split up, it's been, it's probably been, as you walked back to town, you walked back here, they walked out. So it's probably truthfully been maybe like 4 hours.
Okay. Before he casts detect magic, he'll just say, while I'm ritual casted, I grow worried that it's been some time since we've seen Sass and Jaquet. If there's any way you can message them and make sure that they're all right.
Yeah, I got it.
Wait. Before don't speak into the stone. Like, say a bird sound or something. So just in case they're sneaking, they could shut you up, you know?
I'm not sure the spell works like that. I kind of just have to say a bunch of things. And... yeah. It's not like one of those telephones that they have in Alcia.
I don't know what a telephone is.
All right. Yeah, it's a new piece of technology where you can openly talk and converse with one another while being remote. It's pretty sweet technology. Yeah, it's kind of like I say a message and then they get it and they can respond. But
So you don't have to worry about anybody overhearing.
I was hoping that it would just go in their head, but I might have screwed up and it might say whatever I say out loud might screw them up. I'm not sure.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. You just gotta make like a noise, like a meow or something.
Right, but then that's like my whole message.
Oh, right.
Well,
it can't be like...
If this is going to be a problem, because I'm trying to concentrate.
I'm just gonna do it.
Maybe just hold off a little bit longer. I just wanted to voice my concern. But the Septimus will then begin ritual casting detect magic.
You do what you gotta do, Bruce.
All right. Hey, Jaquet. It's us. How you doing? Are you coming back? What else should I say?
You have 4 words left.
Need help? Question mark.
Do you need help? That's 4 words.
Do you need help?
Okay. Jaquet, if you could just give me a quick survival check. This is not to determine if you find the road, it determines how long it takes you to find the road. You're muted.
That's an apple. That's an apple ton. That's a natural
An apple
20.
tummy.
An apple tummy.
Nice. For 23.
Okay, perfect. So then I would say you are literally just stepping out of the grass line towards the road when this message comes through.
Didn't think it would work like that. He takes out the stone and uses his action to send back, and he goes, "Hello, Bruce. You would not believe what happened. So we were going through the fields, and then we got to the forest, and then we... Oh, I still have more. Basically, he was just gonna start ranting and not actually get to what happened.
Okay,
until it just cuts off.
Yeah, we'll say basically it cuts off right as he said like a few words after that. So you really only get that very casual. We were going through the forest, and then suddenly all of a.
He used all his.
And you just see on aside the road, Jaquet's looking at the stone, and he's just continuing to talk. And he just starts walking, and he's still narrating. And then she summoned that fucking weird tentacle, and it shattered this guy. Like, it was pretty grotesque. Then I had to save her ass, of course, but she would never admit that. And he just continues on as he's walking down the road.
Absolutely, yeah.
10 minutes later, he's like, I just can't believe that she just doesn't understand what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm just trying to help her out. And she just throws me away. She just throws me away. Says, I'm the bad guy. Fuck her. Fuck her.
Amazing.
Until he joins them. No. He's like walking up to the house. And I just, I think it stems from, my mom never really loving me. You know?
I love this image.
While he's doing that, Sass, can you give me a survival check?
Not 13, 15.
15. Okay. So I'm going to say it's going to take you an additional 10 minutes to find the road and of a little bit meandering through the grass. Where it only took Jaquet maybe 20 minutes, it would take you about a half hour. And you also waited a little longer, so I'll say we'll throw an extra 10 minutes on there of how far behind you are to Jaquet, as I try to keep my timings straight in my head of where you all are. So I'll say as Jaquet hit that road is when you
decided to, oh fuck, I need to move.
No, you would have already started moving. This would be right when you were you literally, as Jaquet got to the road, you are in the middle of grass and go, fuck, I'm lost.
Got it. Fuck, I'm lost again. And
it's going to take you 10 minutes to get back to the road.
Can I look around too and see if the bandits have caught up yet?
You can give me a perception check if you'd like.
I would. Nope. 10.
10? Okay.
Yep.
So you don't hear anything. You don't hear anyone else going through this. You don't hear Jaquet ahead of you. You are truly alone.
Okay.
As Jaquet, you begin heading back up the road. It is still going to take you a while to get to them because you went like a good hour or so up the road from the farm. So back in the room, Bruce, you hear that meandering message.
I forgot to explain how this rock works. So like 25 words, and he sounds okay. He sounds like he's Jaquet, so
good. No good information though, right?
Yeah, he's at the very end, just saying how something Saskia, and then kind of cut off. No, it sounded like they were fine. He's just complaining.
Right. So, do you think we should maybe go back to the inn, or maybe come back here, or stay here?
Wait, let's not be so hasty. Septimus is still... We didn't get information from Davin yet, and Septimus is currently casting Detect Magic, and just kind of hang out for a little bit. If you want to take a walk outside, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I think I will do that. Yeah,
Alright,
I'll
why don't
keep
you-
an eye out for him.
All right, yeah, that's probably good. Probably not used to staying in houses too long and getting stuffy.
Right. Yeah,
I
I'm
guess.
I'm real stuffy right now.
I can't speak for you. I just
What's stuffy mean?
you know,
I'm just a little uncomfortable that
like you know,
this
when you get
disease could
inside
be
of a house, like there's stuff everywhere, and you're part of the stuff, and so you are stuffy because you're in a close knit area. The outside is spring, and
Ooh.
that's really sorry.
It's all right. I kind of get what you're saying. I mean, it could get kind of gross in the caves that I lived in for a while. So I get what stuffy might infer. But let me just go outside. I don't want to be near the sick people for too long. I'm a little worried about this whole thing. We'll let you two figure it out. I'm not that capable when it comes to this type of stuff. Just let me know if anything needs punching.
All right. Yeah.
It's at that point that you both would see Sal stand up, but he was still in the curtain, so he gets caught in the curtain as he stands up and tries to turn around, and falls face forward out of the curtains, and like hits the ground, and then looks to you two and points at the window.
I rush to the window.
There's a man standing at the end of the walkway up to the farm by the road.
There's a man outside.
Bruce puts his goggles on and then just hugs against the wall.
I open the front door and I slam it behind me, and I just stand like basically where the window is, but from the outside.
Wait.
As you say, wait, the door slams behind.
Yeah.
Behind Fyrn.
So
not again.
I say, "Halt! Who goes there?" I scream it. Yeah, I don't know how far away he is.
He's about 50 feet away. Up kind of by the road. Actually, probably a little further than 50 feet, probably like 75 feet. You would get to like kind of see him a little bit better now, and you can see he's in this long gray coat. He just has kind of these really, really dirty old breeches that look like they were probably at one time white and now are just sort of a brown, discolored sun. Dirt and sun have deteriorated it. He has like a underneath the long gray coat, he has kind of like this doublet on that looks very like it at one time was quite formal, but now has faded. Whether that means it's his or someone else's, you don't know. He has a kind of brimmed hat on, kind of I don't remember the name of that kind of hat, but
Is it round?
yeah, like a round brimmed hat on top.
It's a bowler cap.
I wasn't thinking of a bowler cap, but now I'm gonna say he has a bowler cap on.
Nice.
And just like long, shaggy, black hair, and sort of a blue scarf on. He's just standing and watching, his arms crossed. You can see in one hand, in the cross, it does have a crossbow that's just sort of at his arm like this. A hand crossbow. He's just kind of tapping against his bicep of the crossed arms, and he's just staring. He doesn't say a word when you say halt.
I use a bonus action to make my sword appear, and I hold it out like next to me up in the air, and I just slowly, like if he continues to say nothing, I slowly point it towards him and say, "You better speak up."
He turns and walks up the road. Not to the house, he just keeps moving, so to speak, as if he had stopped here, and he just keeps moving towards the northwest.
I just put the sword on my shoulder and say, "That's right," like to myself, like not loud enough so he could hear.
Mm-hmm.
But I continue to stay outside and like watch where he's going.
Okay.
And then when he gets out of eye shot, I stay outside and look for anybody else who might come.
Okay. Inside, Bruce, you can, if you wanted to, can kind of peek out and well, no, you can't really see much. So, so you can see all the things that Fyrn did, and you could hear Fyrn what he was saying. So you kind of know that the man seemed to walk away, and Fyrn kept an eye on him. In a little bit of time later, Septimus, your detect magic would go off.
Okay. When it does, I would just like to scour the house for any magic that I see.
Okay. There's not a ton of magic in here as you go through kind of the area. It's a very, very, very simple house. There's only one floor, sort of ranch style. You have the room. You can surmise that the room that Davin's in is probably his room as you walk to the opposite side of the house, and there's another bedroom. And then there's the main living room area that you all were gathered in, and the kitchen in the back. And the only thing that really emanates any kind of magic is you see very, very faint wisps around what looks to be kind of like a handcrafted charm in Tora's bedroom that just looks to you quite familiar, like the typical kind of little talismans that folk of Reykjavik make to ward off evil spirits.
Right. And not the same magic as what was in Davin.
Or I would say it has a similar aura to it. Like and this is an aura that you understand to have the implications of elemental magic and spirits.
Okay. But I'll just assume that it's just the talisman breeding a little bit of magic. In my initial sweep, and just kind of like some intuition about kind of like how, or idea of how maybe Tora got, we'll call it poisoned. If you see something else in the house just by like a general sweep, I like to more directly go into the kitchen and look at food and drink.
Yeah.
And follow it up by anything in the garbage.
Absolutely.
And see if anything is shown.
So I would say that you would see little tiny residual magic in this space, mostly on the table itself. Possibly just residual from where they've been kind of keeping the medicine itself.
Yeah.
Tora has been handling it, so you do see like the bowl that she was mortar and pestling it in. It has that residual magic on it, a residual from whatever paste is left of the way that she made it into the ingestible medicine.
Okay. And
hey, Septimus, are there as per what Fyrn was saying before, is there anything in us that you can see?
I was going to be the next thing I said is that follow that, I will look into each one of us and see if there's something similar aside from the radiating magic of any items that they have.
No, there are no elemental spirits or wisps within any of you. The closest you can get to that within any of you is there is some that emanates around Fyrn, particularly his weapon, the actual elemental talisman he has. There would be some similar magic, but not exactly the same.
Okay. Well, then with that, I'm sure the spell will be coming to an end. I don't have anything else to add, but he'll respond to Bruce and being like, no, it looks like we're safe for now. I don't see anything at the moment. As far as the rest of the house, can't seem to pick up any strong resonating magic of where this could have originated or a source or something. Just mainly in Torah still.
All right. I guess we should maybe question Davin first, and then let her know the bad news. Or how do you want to approach this?
I would like to hear what the other two, if there's any information they have that can maybe help us with this at all before we move any forward. Don't want to assume too much without having the full story.
That's probably best.
Where's, by the way,
Did
I hear Fyrn leave?
Yeah, he's went to go yell at some guy outside.
What guy?
Sal spotted a guy walking, apparently, and
I don't
you
hear any
scared him away?
commotion, so
I'm assuming
that
it's
he's
all right.
okay.
I can't see the
Yeah.
car, and I don't really want to go outside. So,
I guess we'll just wait for him. What's Sal doing? Because he's just
Sal is returned to watching out the window. and
okay.
you
As long as he's
actually
out there
can see
watching, that's fine.
He actually goes to a different window. It's actually like when you step out, you can see he's in Tora's bedroom, looking out the window in her room, just kind of looking further up the road from that window. He kind of like, as that man was walking away and Fyrn was watching him walk away, Sal was watching from one window, and then as soon as he was out of shot, Sal ran to the next window to watch until Sal couldn't see it anymore.
That's fine, as long as he's still watching.
yeah, we could check up on Davin if you want and question him, or we could just keep sitting in the dining room. This is actually quite a nice dining room, pretty well built. And this table, yeah.
It's quite a nice table, actually. Quite sturdy. Like, well built. Clearly, someone who cares about woodworking built this table. And the house in general. Just well built. Old home. Still strong.
we'll wait for Fyrn to come back inside before we question Davin.
I come back inside.
Oh,
Yeah,
speak
I'll
of
say
the-
this is when the guy is out of sight from you, Fyrn, you can step back.
Speak of the blue horn devil.
Yo, what's going on?
Is everything okay outside? Bruce tells me that there was a man.
Yep, he had a weapon of sorts, giving me the stink eye. I had to show him. I had to set him straight. He went home packing.
Did he not say what?
No, he just looked kind of mean and then just walked away. Didn't say much.
Wait,
And,
which way did he walk away towards?
where did
I
he
point-
come from, and where did he go?
Kanai Joe.
I knew it was coming.
He was heading that way, and I point to her where Sal is at the window. He's headed that way. I didn't catch where he was coming, but he was definitely heading towards us. He got about 15 feet away before I scared him off.
Is that the way that? That's
50.
the same way that.
That's the way that Assassin and
Jaquet
Jaquet went, yes.
Could be a coincidence. I mean, the man did say that they'd have eyes on this place. I'm wondering, could that have been one of them?
Well,
Can you
then-
use looking to Bruce? Can you use that thing again, or is it spent?
Bruce kind of shakes it. No, that's it.
Damn. I would say follow him, but as we already seen, we can't really do that very well.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for us.
Kind of like peeking out the window. He's gone at this point. Can't see where he is.
Yes, yeah, you see no one. I mean, you can give me a perception check real quick.
It's a window. That one.
This is a dirty window. No, you look out and you could just—it's just like very normal. Like it's just the front yard area with the wooden fence and the the wagon way, driveway, whatever you would call it, the causeway leading up, and just the slight incline up the hill. You see the brush and copse of trees across the main road, but no people. You see no peeps.
Yeah, damn. I wish the other two would get back so we can discuss our next moves. But to your point, maybe we should let Tora know what the situation is for her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should hide that.
It's not a matter of hiding. I was just giving her a little moment of reprieve. But
we just show that it's curable. So I think.
Well, we don't. We know that we know we can contain one of these within a gem. You don't happen to have another of those, and I'm sure it can't house another elemental of this size.
Right. So that's what I was talking about before. I don't know.
Because if we do this again, we're gonna have a free elemental that's gonna be ravaging around the house, and we may need to combat it or figure out another way to capture it.
Hey, Fyrn, do you know how to capture elementals in any other way, or other than gems?
I wish I did. Sean, could I possibly do is there any history stories in the past of my people who interacted with spirits, often? Were there ways to avoid them or to contain them or anything along those? I would say that generally my people are not in the habit of containing these creatures. It's more like dissuading them from their own business, so we could both live peaceful lives.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a history check.
I got a 2.
Okay. Not a lot. All you know is that occasionally, all you know is like the basics of what you know of actually having lived within your community, which is that there were rune carvers who would make specific runes, and you didn't really know exactly how they worked, but you knew they put them in important places. That's it.
There was this one guy, I think he was from the Skullblade clan. He had lots of rune tattoos all over him. Used to hang weird fruits and berries from his windowsill. Said it warded off evil spirits, but I feel like he just took whatever he found and just put it up there. I don't think there was any science to it.
So maybe we should ask Tora if she's eating fruit, because maybe that will ward off. I don't know, properly balanced diet. Maybe that's why.
See, it's bad fruit. Now I'm all sick and addicted to crystals.
Speaking of which, that reminds me, during my search just to see some more magical traces of magic in the area, I found virtually nothing. I thought perhaps maybe there was some imbued in her food or drink, but couldn't find anything like that. So the worst I can imagine is just her handling of this substance seeped in through her somehow. Speaking of which, Bruce, do you still have a sample of that you took from Tora?
Sample of what?
The medicine.
Oh, yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Well, you have it contained. Just try not to handle it with your bare hands. Or
yeah. No, I was pretty careful about identifying it.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine Bruce is pretty careful with those kind of things.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out.
So we're just gonna do nothing about that guy with the crossbow, right? I mean, what if he's about to shoot our friends? I guess he doesn't know who our friends are.
I mean,
that's assuming that he actually will be looking to hurt them.
Right.
I mean, it's a very good chance, but he didn't say anything. I don't know.
There's a lot of assumptions here. what his intentions are, and then on top of that, Septimus and I are not the best at ambushing someone. I don't know. I don't think it's a.
Yeah, I think we should focus on the thing that we're actually good at. We were able to do an incredible thing by saving Davin, and kind of like just like pondering for a second. Maybe there's another way we can be rid of this elemental. Sean, when I first saw the wisps in Davin, was it like bigger than what's in Tora right now?
Exactly the same.
It was exactly the same. No difference in size. Okay.
Yep.
Damn. Okay.
While you're thinking about it, I'm going to jump back over to the other two.
Yep, that's probably a good idea.
So, Jaquet, we'll start with you. Sass, you're a good 20 minutes behind Jaquet. So
Okay.
it's not, unless you're like sprinting and he walks, you're not really going to catch up to him.
No, I'm taking my sweet ass time.
Jaquet, you are walking on the road, talking into a rock for quite a while.
Yep.
Okay. So, I'll say, you were about, let's say, we'll say you are talking for a good 10 minutes after this ends, if that makes sense for you, if that works for you.
Sure. You don't want me to just monologue for?
I mean,
10 minutes?
I'd be down
to
hear. You already kind of gave us the gist of where you went.
Yeah.
You told you complained about Sass and then talked a little. Got a little opened up a little bit to no one at all particular.
Yep.
I kind of like the
Almost
idea
like
of
he knew.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like so I'd say it's about 10 or so minutes of walking when you finally kind of just sort of maybe stop and kind of look down at the stone and realize or don't realize it hasn't been working. I'll leave that to your internal thoughts. Just sort of feel this breeze go over you as the clouds move up in the sky, and you can see the sun beating down now, as it's quite a warm autumn day at this point. The wind is calmed quite a bit and into a gentle breeze. You look around and you're just sort of back in that complete grassland wilderness, where once there may have been farms here, but right now there's just the nature has overtaken any flatlands, copse of trees here and there on this road. You can see the faded colorations of the gas giant in the sky, as well as the sort of faded through the atmosphere. You can see the moon of Ilyuvania. Knowing it's about that time of the year that moon is getting into position for sort of the when this festival you suppose is going to happen, as every year around this time Ilyuvania's moon positions herself in front of the eclipsed gas giant to provide a little more light to the world in the long dark. Anything particular you're doing as you walk? Thinking back, looking back, maybe. Sass is still out there, but you also know your friends are ahead. Your other friends are ahead. What are you doing?
Jaquet, I think, is just almost fiddling with the stone now, as he's just like, he's not quite muttering under his breath, but he is clearly giving off a frustrated vibe, as it were. He's just like, I just don't understand. Why do they just don't listen to me? I just don't get it. Sass, Fyrn. I mean, I haven't really asked much of Bruce or Septimus, but that's neither here nor there. They're all, why can't they realize? And he just looks up and, we'll kind of survey the area. Maybe a perception check.
Go for it. As you're perceiving the surrounding area,
that's a nat 1 for a 6.
as you are looking but maybe not perceiving the surrounding area,
right?
Maybe it's this creeping thought that keeps you distracted of thinking about who your friends are. But for the first time in the Aldhalor Islands, you're actually alone. as far as you can tell, completely alone in the middle of nowhere.
The camera zooms into the nape of his neck, and you just see the hairs kind of stick up. And he's like, I need to find someone. And he's actually also at this time going to take out one of the daggers and look at it. And, there's some blood on it, and he's just going to start wiping it. No, he'll take out like a handkerchief and wipe the blade off and clean it and put it away. He just goes, There's no way that woman died. No. She was a big lady. She could handle it. Sass doesn't know what she's talking about. She just wants someone else to be dealing with the same thing she is. Hello, lady. I've never killed anyone before either. So I'm not going to start now. No. As he continues to walk, and maybe it's not a jog per se, but it is a brisk walk.
Yeah. And it's as you're briskly walking, eager to get back to the people of the world and not this empty nature. And you're muttering these things or saying these things into your breath. It's in that way that because you're thinking about it, the intrusive thoughts come into your mind as you just see a quick flash of that woman's face as the last thing you looked at before pulling Sass away and seeing that blood at the corner of the mouth. And for a moment, you see it once, shake your head, see it again, but this time her eyes are fluttering. So you shifted the memory a bit, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And you briskly walk ahead as you then kind of see maybe 10 or so minutes of this brisk walking. You see sort of trees on the left-hand side of the road where you can just see a couple of these taller pines in a small copse, and you can see within them is just this small little shrine that looks like a it's almost oval in shape. It almost looks like an egg from the distance, made of stone. And as you get closer, you can see kind of carvings in the front of it to show kind of a little face with a very neutral expression. It's very it's not super detailed. It's very stylized. Two big divots for eyes, where you can see some in one of them. In the right one, there's clearly a robin has made a nest in there, and you can see the little bird in there. As a kind of the when you get closer, you can see the shrine almost looks like a little squat round person, kind of two hands interlinked over a belly with just sort of this very frog-like face staring out with a bird in one eye.
Jaquet's gonna kind of meander over to it, and he's gonna look for any offerings or trinkets left behind.
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
Oh, it was a 12. 13.
13, okay. Yeah, you see not a ton, but you can see there are those talismans that I mentioned before, created by folks that are usually either some kind of rock that has an obtuse shape with even with some vine wrapped around it. You do find a very, very, very small amethyst, and I'll say 4 copper and 6 silver.
Yeah, he definitely takes all that. Just
Yeah.
well, at least I'll get something out of this excursion.
And it's as you turn around from investigating this little tiny shrine, you can kind of see a little bit of shade comes over you as a cloud ambles by above, and this wind blows through you as you take these things from the shrine. Surely a coincidence. Surely. As you turn around and you can see, stopped up closer to the road, on the road, you see a man in a long gray coat, the bowler hat, shaggy black hair, old breeches, and a fine doublet. Just looking down from the road at you. Blue scarf blowing in that very soft breeze. No crossbow, as was exposed for Fyrn, but he's just stopped there and is watching you.
Turning to him, Jaquet goes, "Oh, hello, friend. I was just making an offering, as he like pretends to like put something down and stands up, and he's walking over the road, and he goes, "What brings you out on the road this day?"
As you get closer, you can see that scarf is kind of like nuzzled up. It almost covers it doesn't cover, like, it's not like a mask over his face, but it does kind of come up to over the mouth. And you could just see this very round nose that comes up to these very small eyes, almost like, and the face is quite wrinkled. Probably a man in his 50s, human. The eye is very beady. As he's just watching you as you come up, and as you say this, you can tell he's scanning you. And then he kind of looks back up the road, and in this very deep voice, deeper than I can actually do, he would just say, "Just traveling by. Like you."
Oh, okay, yeah. Where are you heading?
Up north.
Kind of like putting his hands in his pockets and, getting a real like nonchalant posture, like trying to, kind of appear like, he's just, kind of, he's unassuming, and that he's like not a threat in any way. Jaquet just kind of goes, "Oh, okay. What's waiting for you up north?"
You don't look like you're from around here.
Oh, no, not at all. And honestly, if I had it my way, I wouldn't be here. But alas, here I am, trying to make the best of it.
Which way are you heading? As he looks up
Into
and down the road.
town. Yeah, Jaquet gestures. Billowgrass, that's what that little shithole's called, right? Yeah. I'm just kidding if you're from there. It's just, I'm used to a little more lively environment.
Where are you coming from?
I come from, Gwenvalier. You familiar with the area?
Yeah, across the sea.
Yeah, exactly.
No, where are you coming from today?
Today, I've just been out on a stroll. Some of my friends were being annoying, so I got fed up and started walking. And then I realized walking's not really for me, so I'm going back.
You're in Billowgrass then?
Yes.
How long?
Oh, not too long. Just got in the other day.
Careful out here.
Oh, trust me, I'm aware. I heard the spiel about bandits or whatever. But if they show up, I can vanish like the wind.
You can see the crook of the smile come up above the scarf as you say that. And he just starts walking. Safe travels.
Just gonna watch him, and he goes, "Ah, yes, same to you, friend." And he's gonna make a calculated decision and head back on the road.
Okay. Jaquet, what's your passive perception?
15.
Okay. As you start walking up the road, you hear him shift back towards you and pull.
How far away is he from me?
Not far. I mean, he took maybe 10 feet of steps as you started walking. So we'll say you're both 15 feet apart as you can hear him draw a crossbow on you.
All right, Jaquet is just gonna round with his hand crossbow and just point it at him and just goes, "You feeling lucky, punk?"
Just come in town the other day.
What comes around goes around.
Just come in town the other day. You friends with the horned fella? The robot.
Friends is
and
a
the man.
strong word. But I know them, yes. You friends with a couple of ruffians down the road? Like to hang out in an old farmhouse?
I work with them. And you kind
How
of
do
like,
you want this to end?
yeah, you're like looking each other in the eyes, and I think we should roll an initiative roll for this
Okay.
to see, because you can tell like you're both. This is 100% a standoff, and like
Yes.
he's watching you carefully. You're watching him carefully. I'll ask you to quickly give me an insight check first, though, before the initiative roll. If you get a 16 or higher,
26.
26, you have advantage on the initiative.
Okay, cool.
Okay. He got a 18. What'd you get?
23.
Nice. So you're gonna get your shot off first. Then go ahead and give me an attack roll.
All right. That is a 24.
Okay, that'll hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
7 points of damage.
Okay.
And I will say Jaquet is going for non-lethal. Like when he
Okay,
fires, he's aiming for like a shoulder or a thigh or knee.
Absolutely. I'm gonna give him disadvantage because you got the attack off first, and this kind of just makes sense for a standoff like this. Okay. That's a 15.
All right, doesn't hit.
Okay, so you fire off, and it does. I'll say it hits the guy right in the shoulder. As you can see, he fires off at you, and the crossbow bolt wishes past your head. And he kind of like, he has his crossbow out. He reaches up for his shoulder, and then what do you do next?
All right, bonus action, unsettling words, and Jaquet's just gonna go, "You've got to do better than that." And then he's gonna cast everyone's favorite, Dissonant Whispers.
Okay.
So he needs to make a Wisdom saving throw, DC 14, but you also minus a D6
Because of the words.
Unsettling words. Yeah.
All right, so that's a 2 on the D6, so minus 2 on his roll. This is a charming effect, right?
I don't.
Yeah, what does
Let me
it
see
specifically
what-
say in it?
No, it's because it's the intent is damage. There's no charm effect to it.
Okay, just checking. Okay, so that is minus 2. That's 16. What was your DC?
14, but since he succeeded, silvery barbs.
Hell yeah. All right. Oh, effective use of silvery barbs. As he gets a 5. He gets a 5.
Okay.
So he runs away from you, right?
Well, he's gonna take
Oh yeah.
15 psychic damage, and then we'll use his reaction, if available, to move his full speed away from me.
Okay. He does. You see, he kind of. There's a moment where you've shot him, and you look over, and he's like about to pull the crossbow back up to go for a second shot on you, and you use Dissonant Whispers. You can see there's a moment he drops his arm, and he's just sort of like standing there, like in a state of shock and fear, and then immediately starts to back away, and then turns and runs 30 feet away.
All right. I'm going to use the rest of my turn to feline agility so that I can run and get around in front of him.
Oh,
And-
okay, perfect.
And now
Yeah.
I'm going to have a dagger out, crossbow, and like put the dagger up to his neck and go, he tuts his tongue,
Mhm.
and goes, "You're not getting away that easily, friend."
Okay, give me an intimidation check.
15.
Okay. He, I mean, you still have him in a precarious situation, but he does not seem intimidated once his mind clears. And you can kind of see his mind clear as soon as you come up to him from the dissonant whispers. And you can see, again, that grin comes up over his cheek as you have the dagger up against his neck. And he is going to go for a disadvantaged attack on you. The crossbow. That is a 17 to hit.
Silvery barbs.
Yeah. So you roll the.
Do I suck? Yes.
Truthfully,
Does it keep me
even
alive?
even with disadvantaged attack rolls, he's been rolling quite well with them. Does it have to be the lower or the higher, or does it have to be the new roll?
It has to be lower. Whatever's lower, it takes.
Okay, so it would still be a 17.
Okay, so that'll be a hit.
Okay.
I imagine Jaquet starts saying something sassy and rude, and then this guy just does whatever his attack is.
Where did I put it? There it is.
He starts to say, "Please, you couldn't hit the broadside." Ugh!
Okay, so that is going to be 7 points of piercing damage.
All right.
As you are saying that, you would feel that crossbow bolt hit you in the stomach. And it's like the kind of thing, like through your, like you can feel like the tip pierce through your armor. Like you're not like, it's not sinking into your gut. But you can feel that that wound at the surface of your skin, so to speak. And that grin is still there. Like as he cuts off whatever silvery barb words you were using against him. And like mechanically nothing happens, but like flavor wise he's gonna go he doesn't have an action to do this, but he's gonna go for your arm to like pull the dagger away. But it is your turn now.
All right. Jaquet is going to. He's gonna bonus action disengage, move back 30 feet, and then he's gonna fire off his hand crossbow.
Go for it.
With advantage.
It's a nice little like
I'm realizing Jaquet's perfect for like a 1v1.
You really? Yeah.
He's just like, nope, disadvantage, advantage for me. That's sneak attack. All right, see you, sucker. So that is an 18 to hit.
That will hit.
All right, so 9 from the weapon, and then another 2 from sneak attack.
Okay. All right, so you that was the total?
11.
11. Okay. So you watch the crossbow bolt hits him. Are you still going for that non-lethal?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. You see that crossbow bolt hits him in the same spot. Like, if nothing else, Jaquet is consistent. And you can see that there's just sort of this cluster at his shoulder. And you can see, like, similar to you, you've like pierced through some leather armor that's hidden underneath the doublet. And you watch as he kind of like, for a moment, you can see him like kind of like get woozy. And like his head is like, he clearly like, you know, most of the damage he's taken has been psychic damage. So like you see him kind of like take one of those hands, just starts hitting himself in the head like this to get himself back into things. So you can see he shakes his head and stares back at you. as you did take him down to 0, but he has sort of like that. He has that endurance ability that brings him back up to 1 in this moment. He has an endurance ability that for a moment he shakes his head, looks at you, and you can see like that kind of like it's not like a barbarian's rage, but it's just sort of like that desperate shake off as he is still up.
Oh,
anything else on your turn?
That would happen. Don't move the full 30 feet away. Bonus action and action. I am donezo.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So you see he refocuses and he looks to you. What is Jaquet kind of look like right now? Like as he sees this man kind of just like shake off what clearly should have knocked him off his feet.
Jaquet's gonna give a weak, like, smile, grin back at him, and just be like, "You're a tough guy, huh?"
And you see he starts walking towards you slowly and holds the crossbow bolt up as he's loading another crossbow as he loads another bolt into it. And the grin is there, and he says, "Years of bounty hunting will do that. You're gonna go quietly."
It's his turn, right?
It's his turn, but yeah.
Right.
He's basically holding his attack action for your response.
Right. Jaquet's gonna do, again, some calculations in his head, and he's gonna put the crossbow, put the dagger away, and then just hands up again.
Okay.
I'm prideful, but not stupid.
And he's the entire time just walking towards you. And I'll say, like, even just with that insight from before, you know this man is holding his crossbow lethally towards you. And he would grab one of your arms, pull it behind your back. He has the crossbow up to your chin now. And he says, "Put the other hand behind your back." You feel him grab that with his hand. So he's holding both of them.
A little rough, don't you think?
All I know is your friends are dangerous. I assume you are as well. As he then kind of, you can see, he pulls the he takes the crossbow off of you, throws it to the ground, and starts patting you for daggers.
No, I need that. And yeah, so he would find the 2 daggers in their cool sheaths on Jaquet's back, and then there's also the ornate rapier at his waist.
Ah, yes. Do you have any hidden daggers that I should roll an investigation for?
I mean, I would say the ones on his back are hidden.
Okay.
You know, because his cloak like lays, or yeah, it would be a cloak. His like half-shouldered cloak cape kind of covers them.
So,
and actually, they would be like under his jacket because he's got like leather armor and then his jacket.
So I would ask, like,
cape.
I'm trying to think of what kind of roll you should do for these.
I mean, I can do like a sleight of hand. To like kind of either like distract his hands with my fingers or something, or just like guide him away from them.
Let's do that. I'll
right.
roll investigation for him. You got a 17.
Natural 1 for an 8.
Okay, so you see he you like I imagine like describe how you're trying to get him not to find these as he's kind of searching in your jacket right now.
Yeah. So I imagine he's still got Jaquet's hands behind his back, so he's gonna kind of lower his hands a little, pulling his hand away from his daggers. And he's like, "Oh, shouldn't you buy a fella dinner first before you start filling him up?"
It's as soon as you say that you hear as he pulls one of them out of the case and holds it up to you. Drops it on the ground. Pulls the other one out. And you can see he actually like reaches for actually after he pulled the first one out, he reaches for and like undoes the scabbards for those and pulls the scabbards off entirely. Drops that on the ground.
No, actually, I would like to keep the scabbards at least. That was a custom piece.
He holds the crossbow up to you.
Not very respectful for a bounty hunter, are you? You know, where I come from, bounty hunter is a sacred profession. Treat their captives with the utmost respect. Not like in this backwater.
He doesn't respond to this as he then goes behind and ties your hands together. And kind of leaves a leash on that, a little cord to hold on to.
Come on. What am I, a fucking pet to you?
I never liked cats.
I doubt they like you either. Does he have any, like, scars or anything on his face or that I can see?
Yeah, he's pretty scarred up.
That's probably where you got those scars, huh?
And I'll say even, like, since you're close to him, you can see, like, underneath the scarf that kind of hides his neck, you can see he's got, like, burn scars all up his neck. And like, his facial hair is patchy because there's, like, streaks of burn scars up them.
Can't handle a good pussy?
And he kind of, like, pulls the rope to pull you away. Am I gonna need to gag you?
Is he watching me when he starts to do this?
Yes.
Oh. And Jaquet goes, depends. Do you want good conversation or silence?
Drags you over to one of the trees. And you see he ties the rope up on one of the trees, basically just connecting you there. And he goes back and starts grabbing all your weapons and picking them up.
In the moment that he's doing this, Jaquet's gonna try to break out.
I know. So, I'm gonna ask you to give me a sleight of hand. And I'm gonna roll a sleight of hand for him to see how well he knotted you up. Okay. He got a dirty 20. What did you get?
19.
Ah, so close. And I'm gonna say, like, it's not that you aren't, like, succeeding; it's just taking too long.
Right.
As you can see, and it's almost like painstaking as you're doing it, and you're watching him, like, slowly pick your daggers up. He ties, you see, and this probably maybe this is what slows you down, is it pisses you off when you see him tie. He puts your scabbard onto his own waist and puts your daggers back into it. He puts your crossbow into his bag. He puts all your stuff is just securely in his belonging as he turns around and comes towards you, and it's just not enough time. Like, you're about to get one hand free when he comes up and goes around and grabs at your wrists. Not so fast.
I know. I'm embarrassed. I usually do it a lot quicker.
Unties the rope and pulls it along. Come along now, kitty cat.
Meow meow, motherfucker.
And he starts to walk you up the road. Captive.
Like, back the way I came, or?
Back the way you came.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, as that's happening, I know we're probably gonna go in a break in a moment, but I'm gonna cut to Sass to see what's up with our flustered warlock as you're along this road. So, Sass, you are moving through the brush, and the clouds are clearing, the wind is dying down, the sun is beating down on a very warm day for autumn. Similar things that you see as our friend here was seeing, the foggy look through the atmosphere of the gas giant in the sky, the moon moving into position, the sun beating down as you finally kind of see the road as you've gotten to the edge of the grasslands.
As I was walking, it was kind of like I'm trying to think of the words to describe it. Like, I can see it in my head. It's just like this like 1,000-yard stare, like mouth is kind of open, just kind of like stumbling along and just like lost in the terrible thoughts of what just happened. Still sweating because it's warm, and I at this point I think I would have draped my shirt back on, but I'm like carrying my corset in one hand and headscarf and eye patch in the other, just covered in mud and blood.
Shambling up the road.
Yes.
Okay. Are you basically kind of like in this stupor? Like, are you just like walking
Stupor.
slowly?
That's the word. Yes. yes.
Okay. So you are moving along the road. What's your passive perception?
That would be a 14.
Okay. So as you're on the road, you're looking about, kind of in this stupor. Your head, I imagine, is almost wandering in this, as you look kind of out, and you just see kind of, because the road is slightly elevated, so you can kind of somewhat see the grass above the grass line. You're just sort of seeing the very gentle waves of grass now, as opposed to the sort of fast-paced moving grass before. And every now and then you just sort of see like the way it's moving. You get like a stab in your heart, thinking like, is that a person? Is that a person moving through?
And I also, I think, would occasionally be like muttering to myself, but also mostly to myself, but kind of to her as well. Just like, I don't know, fuck out of here. I don't know what to do next. This has never happened before. I don't just fuck. This is fucked. What do I do? I don't know what to do.
No response.
Yeah. Wasn't really expecting one. Just, it was, like I said, more towards myself, but it'd be nice if she was listening.
As you're walking, you start to look around and you're like, you're not recognizing the landscape. You're realizing that the extra 10 minutes that you took to get to the road brought you at 10 minutes northwest
Back
on the road.
Oh, fuck. Shit.
As you would see on the right side of the road, a little tiny shrine staring at you. You are like the road to the right of you, the kind of, whereas way ahead where you had been trailing them, there was a ditch on the side of the road. Where you are right now, there's a slight kind of hillock. So you're kind of, when you look to your right, you see kind of like earthwork,
like a wall of.
Yeah, it's a natural wall of sorts.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a hill that kind of like hugs the side of the road. And you kind of, in your stupor, you're talking to your necklace. You look to your right. There's just this frog-like face staring at you.
Fuck. Just staring at it, trying to contemplate if I'm actually seeing it or if it's a hallucination.
Give me a perception check.
He's a natural 1 for a 5.
As you're staring at it, kind of in this emotional stupor, you start to see from the eyes. You can see these kind of cracks in the stone. You can just see water starts pouring out of them, like the statue's crying. Steady flow, like a water fountain.
That's how I feel too, buddy.
And you almost see it looks like it starts to frown instead of smile.
What the fuck? I'll kind of like stumble backwards, like away from it, and try and correct my path.
Give me a dexterity saving throw.
That would be an 8.
You stumble back from it and stumble too far and trip on the side of the road and tumble down the slight incline back into the grass.
Okay.
You stumble into some mud. You just hear.
Oh. At this point, I, at the top of my lungs, would just scream, "Fuck!" And then just lay in the mud.
Okay. With you laying in the mud, Jaquet captured by a bounty hunter, and our other friends waiting for the two of you to return. We're going to go to a break. All right, folks, we will be back in 5 or so minutes to continue on. So please stick around, and we will see you all very shortly. See you soon. Welcome back, everybody, to Adrift in Aldhalor. Our sneaky pair have seen better days, as Jaquet has been captured by a bandit that works for, or a bounty hunter that works for the bandits, and Sass has been trolled by a spirit statue and fell into the mud as she is trying to process the worst day of her life. The other three, though, are having a pretty good time. They've saved a man from an illness. Sure, they're having some trouble kind of pacing out their next steps. But we're going to check in now with Fyrn, Septimus, and Bruce. Last we checked in with them, Septimus had done a detect magic around the space, found some residual magic in the mortar and pestle that Tora had used to create the potion that she gave to her brother to ease his pain with that addictive medicine. Sal identified a strange man outside, which turned out to be the same bounty hunter who left after Fyrn kind of gave his threatening presence. And now the three of them are inside, contemplating what to do next. So the three of you are in the living room. Sal is staring out the northwestern facing window. Tora is in her bedroom, or in Davin's bedroom with him. What would you like to do?
Do you think it's good enough time to talk to Davin?
We should at least let her know, but let's not act immediately.
Right. I mean, I'm talking about just questioning him.
Oh, sorry, I had my mind in the wrong place. I thought you meant telling Tora. That,
Oh, no, we could do that. We could drop that bomb at the end.
Yeah. Now it's better time than any. So no reason for us to just sit here and do nothing.
I mean, I do have a deck of cards. All right, fine.
Okay. All right, so the three of you are going to go speak with Davin?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
just walk up to the door, the one that I had closed, and kind of give it a couple of light taps.
You hear Tora, you hear her say to come in. When you enter in, you can see Davin is kind of sitting up in his bed with his pillow kind of behind his back, sort of sipping, his hand shaking, but he's sipping water from a wooden cup as Tora is sitting in a chair next to the bed. And she looks up, and she, despite like Davin still being in somewhat of a, messy looking situation, you see she is all smiles as she sees the three of you. And she just nods to you and says, whatever you did, he's I haven't seen him this well in so long. Davin, these are the men who helped you, who helped us.
Good to see that you're looking better. How are you feeling?
Like shit. Feel like shit. But thank you.
I would drink water.
He's like shaking his
It's a
hand.
big-
It's like,
Yeah. It is to be expected. You had a pretty volatile creature embedded within you.
Creature.
Yeah, it's a elemental spirit.
You had a
Bruce
storm
is
element.
Sorry. Bruce is actually going to walk over to where the emerald fell on the floor.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
It shocked
You never
him, and he was
took
like,
it with you?
No. I never explicitly said I took it with. And he's just going to like reach into his bag, pull out his little Swiss, and pick it up with like these pliers.
Absolutely.
With rubber at the end of them to insulate himself.
Sure.
Yes, you had a whole storm elemental. Well, maybe a weakened version, but contained within yourself.
You took it out?
We were able to. Yes.
Could you think of maybe like how that might have happened?
And you see as he kind of like looks around weakly and like is about to talk, you see Tora, like she puts a hand on his arm and looks up to you all, and the smile has faded a little bit. She's not like scowling at you, but she's sort of looking in a little bit more confused and somewhat in disbelief at this portion of it. She didn't really know the details of how you saved him. And she looks, you took the spirit out of him?
I mean, yeah, it was causing your Davin over here quite a lot of trouble. That's the whole reason why.
But that's you took his guardian spirit. You took his the Ornamencer gave it to him. That was meant to protect him. And you see Davin's kind of like coughs a little and kind of puts his hand on his sister's arm. You believe that shit? Of course I do. Of course I do.
And who is this?
The Ornamencer. They told the people in town they have that ritual that this guy gives them names when they're young. Some sort of shady business where he bestows them some sort of guardian spirit.
It's not shady. It is a ritual of our people. You're given your guardian spirit, and they protect you through your life. And your name is kept in the mouths of the spirits and protected.
And what does that look like? Or are you just told this?
I believe in the spirits.
As do I. But clearly something is going on here that has caused the spirits to lash out.
Well, I think we kind of surmised why they're lashing out. It's because of the medicinal, or the drug that was being given to Davin.
Right. So, if you have any more of that drug, we strongly advise you give it to us or burn it. Keep it far, far away from you. And don't touch it at all.
You would notice as soon as you mention the material, the drug, Davin immediately like face drops, like any kind of like pain, like you can see quickly like shame bleed through that pain as he just like his eyes dart away from you all, dart away from his sister.
Is there something about that we may need to know?
You see he's kind of like immediately, like you can tell the tension has risen in him. He's much more, he's shrunken a little. He's grabbing at his arm and kind of just sort of rubbing it to the point of hurting himself as he's just drug. My mind's a little foggy.
I got it right here. And Bruce is gonna take out what.
Oh, you have some?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just...
What is it to you?
He's immediately staring. Do you take it out?
Yeah, I imagine Bruce has it like in a bowl.
Yeah, like a little
Yeah.
sampling bowl. He's his eyes glue to it as soon as you take it
Uh,
out.
Fyrn, noticing this, kind of just like slowly lowers Bruce's arm that has the bowl in it. So it's like out of this guy's eye shot, and like kind of just stands in front of Bruce to make sure, it basically to cover it up. And I give him a very stern look. Like I look like I'm saying, like, if you go for it, there's going to be problems.
Yeah. Sorry. You see, he shakes his head and kind of avoids eye contact with Fyrn.
So why would you use this in the first place? What drove you to do it? I mean, I guess that people want to use drugs here and there for fun or suppression or something, but in your case, why did you go for this medicine? I'll call it that.
I don't know. It's just from what I can remember. I was just trying to find something to do. Farmhand. One of the farmhands we hired. I went somewhere with him. You just kind of get bored out here. Said he knew some magic places around here.
So you elected to take this.
I didn't think it was much. I didn't think it was gonna do this to me.
And this farmer hand farmer, is he also part of the village? Did he get a name, part of the ritual?
No, not that I know of. He's just we travel. Farmhands travel here. Travel up and down the roads. Northwest, north, south, throughout the farmlands, just working. Find some shelter. Work. I hadn't seen this one before. Some of them live around here. Don't own their own land to farm themselves. They work for us who have land.
Do they have any names?
This guy's name was Theo. He's Theo.
Oh, never trusted Theo. Never trusted Theo.
I really mean it when I say I can't. Everything's a little foggy. We went out.
Was it?
He said he knew some interesting stuff, interesting people, and it's just. There's not a lot of magic around here that you can see, at least. And he looks at his sister. Hire someone from out of town. They tell you they know some interesting people, interesting places. Fucking better than same shit every day.
Davin, you've made a mistake. It happens. I understand your struggles, but now you must look towards the future for your own safety and for the safety of your sister here. The men who gave you that drug and have been feeding you it are gonna come back. They know we've been helping you, and I'm sure that they're gonna do something about it. You need to find somewhere safe. Somewhere where you can outlast this affliction.
We haven't abandoned this farm in generations. No, we're
I'm not telling you to leave forever. Just for long enough for you to get your strength back. We will do our best to find out what's happening here and put a stop to it. That's what we were hired for.
This is something else I remember. I would dream of a place out of town. I don't know if it's where he brought me. I don't remember too well at that point, but somewhere out in the forest, near the hills, in the northwest.
Looking at Septimus, you think that might be the location of which this drug is suggesting the users to go?
It's a good bet. Or at least that's the hideout where they're stationed. Going back to Theo, turning to Tora, were either of the men that were here last night, were they Theo? Or no?
And while you're talking to Tora, you can see Davin getting like actively working himself up. Like you can see the rubbing of his arms has turned into sort of scratching at his arms, and he's just sort of like his eyes are getting dilated, and he's clearly breathing heavier. And Tora like puts a hand on him and then looks to you and says, "No, I'd only ever seen those men when they came by to try to sell us the medicine."
What did Theo look like, Davin? It's okay. We're here to help in any way we can.
So a half-orcish fella, I think. From the looks of him, he had tusks, small tusks. He was a strong. Had a pale bluish-green skin. Grayish blonde hair, ponytail, kind looking, truthfully, but his tattoos on his face. Just very simple markings on the cheekbones. Yeah, those markings. I see those markings sometimes. I don't know. My dreams, I would see a face in the forest. Horrifying face in the forest. Angry with me. Punishing, coming for me. And he starts to really, there's something in it, like the fatality of this sickness is gone, but there's still stuff, like he's still affected by this. You know, you've saved his life, but he is still not past the finish line.
Right.
I'm gonna get closer, kind of just standing like at the bedside, not grabbing him or anything, but like having my arms out, just to stop him if he, starts thrashing or anything like that, or hurting himself.
Looking at me from the forest. I profaned the spirits. I profaned them. And now you've stripped me of them. And what am I now? To be devoured in the dark. In the dark. You've got to give me some of that medicine. And he looks to Bruce.
No. Dora, can you please gather all the medicine in here and give it to Fyrn?
She looks to her brother and hugs him tighter to try to calm him a little bit and kisses him on the forehead. You can see he kind of like weakly reaches up to her. As he does that, you can see like the exhaustion is setting back in. Like he couldn't jump up for you if he wanted to. As she then rushes into the other room to go clean up anything that's remaining of it.
Fyrn, could you just incinerate this?
Fyrn is gonna he's gonna try to get Davin's attention even though he's fading. And he puts a writing utensil, the same that he used, like a little quill that he used to write the runes on his chest. And he just puts it into Davin's hand and like gives him like a part of the sheet or, something to write on and says, "Draw me the symbol that you see in your dreams." And even while he's doing it, I kind of just like hold his hand steady if I see it's shaking. Like I try and help him as best as I can. And I while I'm doing this, I'm like basically pushing Tora away. Like, gently, but
You see there's this very feeble drawing that he creates. And you can see it essentially is this shaky drawing of two jagged, poorly drawn. Partially, you can't tell if it's the shake of his hand, but even when you steady it, he seems to make more jagged marks that create this outlined sort of an eye shape. You can see two eyes slanted inward, almost like they're angry. For lack of a better way to put it, they're kind of like that sort of jaggedness of, like, say, a symbiote's eyes in Spider-Man, and curved and large and jagged. A jagged mouth line that you can see, and then just sort of these sweeping from the below the eyes where one's cheekbones might be. You can see these sweeping lines, parallel lines that follow the same path that almost look like wind drawings. That come down from the eyes in a curve and then come up. Looking at it, it almost looks like a mustached face, really, from these wind angles. But it's all very jagged, almost like lightning lines.
Okay.
I take the small drawing, I like tear off the sheet that he made, and I tell Tora, "Your brother is still not well. We've done what we can, and we will obey your wishes, but for us to get to the bottom of this, we can't stay for much longer. What will you do?"
She looks at you as she's kind of gathered anything she used at all. Like, you can see she has it all in like kind of like a cloth wrapping. You can see there's the mortar and pestle in there. There's anything that touched the medicine. You see the cup that she would have made the poultice in is all gathered. She's sort of handing this up to you. I can take him into town.
Why don't you take him into town? Go to Alicia's. Stay in our rooms for the night while we do what we need to.
I can't thank you enough for all your help. I'm still not quite sure what you've done, but we'll listen to you. You seem to know what's dangerous, what's not.
We at least stabilized your brother, and we're hoping to just get to the bottom of where these drugs are coming from and what exactly they do. But the most important thing I have to ask is, you did not partake in any of this. And be upfront with me. We can't help you if you lie.
I never went with him whenever he went out there with Theo. I was worried, but not knowingly have I ever engaged with any of this other than to make the poultice for him.
Now, before you take off, also, did you get the rest of the medicine in the house? Or quote-unquote medicine?
Anything that touched it, anything we have is in that wrapping. I'll just hand it over to Fyrn.
Oh, all right. Hey, Fyrn, can you burn that?
You have some for yourself, right? We need evidence.
Yeah, I got this bowl. I think it's good enough. We should just get rid of everything else.
Well, don't burn it right now. Like, wait till we go outside. Don't want to breathe in any of that crap.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I forgot about fumes.
I think, have you guys ever seen that video of the news anchor standing in front of the pile of confiscated opium and heroin and stuff that's burning, and he's like, behind me is 2 tons of confiscated paraphernalia. The smoke's going all around him. He just starts giggling.
He's like,
okay.
You don't need to leave immediately. Have your brother get some rest, but try to get there by the end of night. Or by the end of the evening. Guys,
maybe Sal can help them.
Well, I was going to suggest that, however. Bruce, you had mentioned that sounded like Jaquet was going to be coming back any minute now.
Yeah. He sounded pretty jovial, like nothing was wrong. It's kind of weird that I haven't heard from him. Well, I can't hear from him now. I kind of wasted that.
Well, we know he went down the road, so we at least should head that way and see if we can find him.
Right.
And I think Sal should come with us until we get together.
All right.
Okay.
Well, good luck to the two of you for now. We will see each other again soon.
Absolutely.
Your brother is not in his right mind. You may need to tie him up. He'll be over it soon, but
I'll take precautions.
Right. You know what to do.
Mm-hmm. She nods to you.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as we're leaving the room, Fyrn gets the smile on his face, like a devilish smile, and he looks towards Septimus and he says, "Finally, we did good work here, but maybe I'll see some action in this next part."
Well, I know you are, but I'm not hoping for that. Sal, let's leave these people to rest. We need to find Stas and Jaquet. And then before finally leaving, what Septimus would like to do, he'd like to go back to Torah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of get closer, kind of like holding her hand for comfort and staring deeply into her eyes, just being like, your brother will be okay. But as he's doing that, I like to roll a perception for any hint of blue in her sclera.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Imagine Fyrn's just burning that little sack outside.
Oh, the Mike special, baby. That's a 6.
It's hard to see anything beyond the bloodshot of her eyes.
Yep. Okay. Then with that, he will go on his merry way.
You see, as you're stepping out, you know Sal is following you, and like after you held her hand and said this to her and walked by, Sal went over and just like took her hand as well and just stared at her.
Sal, come on now.
And you see Sal gives a little nod to her, and she very confused look on her face. What have I brought into my home? As he follows you out, and you see out there Fyrn. Imagine Fyrn and Bruce like 15 feet from this burning pile of stuff, staring at it.
Hey, don't burn that.
Right, but we can't let it, catch fire and spread.
Right, you're right. All right, well, maybe
Fyrn just
throw it over
shoots
there.
an ice bolt, a frost bolt at it as soon as it looks like it's burnt away the blue part.
Yep, and like you can even see like the fire like turned blue for a little bit, and then you see it shift back to a regular orange fire, and you shoot off your frost bolt, and you just see like the mortar and pestle within just like shatters and explodes out, and the fire does go out, and the three of you can begin heading up the northwest road. We're gonna cut back to the other two now. So we're gonna start with Jaquet. So I imagine, Jaquet, you have been spending the last 15 or 20 minutes or so trying at every possible moment to escape from this bandit, this bounty hunter, whether it's sleight of hands or trying to woo him in some way. But at this point, you've kind of like breached the grass line, and he's bringing you through the grass line, you can imagine, towards the farmhouse. You do talk a lot, cat.
Well, that was just to distract you from my escape.
Pulls the rope and don't make me knock you unconscious.
Trust me, they tried, but failed. Your friends aren't that good. I think you've put in with the wrong lot.
And you see you see him immediately take out a 2 potions. He chugs one of them, and you can very clearly see it's a health potion. As you can see him kind of like stand up straight as the potion, you can see he winces as if this is probably an off-brand potion these bandits can get that does not have the good sweet flavor of an alchemist guild potion. But then he see the other one. He brings over to you. He says, "Now open up."
Does it look like a health potion?
No.
For once, I think I'll keep my mouth shut. What the fuck is that?
I'd rather not take the effort to smack you across the head, cat. So, if you don't mind, this is just a potion of sleep.
Why do you have to knock me out at all?
Because I'm sick of listening to you.
Oh, come on, we're almost there. Just take me the rest of the way. I don't need to be asleep. Come on. Come on. As he's trying to maybe persuade.
Give me a persuasion roll.
That's a dirty 20.
You know what, cat? Why waste the potion?
See, my point exactly.
He comes up and hits you across the head with the butt of his dagger, knocking you unconscious. And we'll jump over to Sass.
Should I start making death saves? Or
Yeah, please. No. It's a special dagger that dealt 50 damage. You're dead. No.
That's no good.
Sass, you are in the mud.
Yes, I am in the mud. After, like, I screamed fuck at the top of my lungs, I would then sit up rapidly, dripping in mud, and then just like corsets in this hand, just drop it. Headscarf and eye patch are in this hand, drop it. And then shirt's all muddy, just take it off. I'm leaving it all in the mud. So I just have my undershirt on, and hair's a mess. I don't know what the eye's doing, but just bright. And then I'll stand up, kind of like brush the mud off, take another fucking look around the grass.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. Eight. It's fucking grass.
It's
What do you
fucking
mean?
grass. It's fucking grass.
Yeah, right? Seriously, you cursed me.
As you look out, Sass, it's not that you are not a perceptive person necessarily. It's just that you look out in vain and are not really looking for anything. It's just a sea of grass billowing in the wind. Everything looks so big. You could hear the water trickling from the road. As you just kind of like look down, and the water like is oddly rising from rapidly around you.
Shit, am I doing this? Are you doing this?
And then very quickly it just and you are underwater now. Just looking around, you see the aurora coming out of your necklace and surrounding you.
What the fuck?
The grass now looks like seagrass. You're at the bottom of the ocean.
Hmm.
You can look in the shadows of it, and you just see those. You just see coming out from it is a large tendril with a bulb at the end, like an anglerfish. And then the light of the bulb ignites, and you can see what looks like a human eye in there, green in color, staring back at you.
Do I know who it is?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, okay, cool. Just checking. What the fuck? What? I fucking lost.
It blinks, and when it opens, it's a cloudy eye like yours. And then you just feel all the water just come down, and you feel that immense pressure as you open your eyes, and you're still laying in the mud. You never stood up. Your stuff is all splattered around. You're still laying in the mud.
What the fuck? What is happening? I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my fucking mind. That's what's happening. Try and stand up again.
You're able to. You can pick up your stuff if you'd like. I know it's all a mess.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
You leave it behind.
Yep.
Okay. You crawl up. I imagine you're in like almost like a tank top like you're wearing now. It's like
That's
the undershirt.
That's exactly why I wore this today.
Still kind of muddy.
Yeah.
Not as muddy
Muddy,
as
yeah.
the caked on scarf and all of that. You get up there. You stare right into the eyes of that spirit statue. It's not crying. There's no water at all. And it's just smiling back at you like a little frog man holding its belly.
I hate this fucking place. If I try to kind of like tug at the amulet, does anything happen?
I mean, it tugs like a normal necklace.
If I take it off and like look at it.
Just looks like an amulet. Pearl with the seashell.
What are you doing? Anything?
Nothing.
Oh, fuck you. Put it in my soggy, muddy pocket.
Walk up the road.
Yep. Trying to get unlost. Still, and now
You-
just like totally like, I'm so confused. So confused. Just the water, I think, helped clear my mind a bit, but I'm still like stumbling.
Mhm. You get the feeling that this moment, this temporary lucid dream, is really what you can almost surmise it to be. Like maybe you even out of like sheer over emotional burden, like drifted not necessarily to sleep, but in kind of a trance while you're in the mud. And it just seemed like she was scanning you. She was reading you. She was looking at you. With that big green eye, just like your cloudy one. And you trudge in this frustrated stupor now up the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say our other three heroes who are walking the opposite direction towards you, somewhere around 20, 30 minutes of both of you walking towards each other on this road, will eventually, Sass, you'll see 3 people up the road, and the rest of you will see a lone Sass.
4.
4, that's right. Sorry. Sal is there. You'd probably actually recognize Sal first, like the shape of Sal in the distance. That very unmistakable automaton. And the rest of you would see the hot mess that is Sass right now, without her cloak, her coat, without her, of course, her typical attire, just in that shirt and her breeches and boots, and with her weapon or anything she has on her.
Upon seeing her disheveledness in the distance, Septimus would start just like running towards her, like jogging, like clearly like something's wrong. Like it looks like she just got in a fight, and Jaquet's not with her.
Mm-hmm.
Running up, like, Sass, my gosh, where's Jaquet? Is everything all right?
I don't fucking know. I don't know where he went. He left me in the middle of the fucking field. Is he not with you? He left first.
Why are you covered in mud?
So I fell in mud.
Oh, that makes sense.
A lot of it. Choice.
Wait, back up. What do you mean you don't know where he is?
I don't know where he
seem
is.
to care.
He fucking left me in the middle of the field. Is he not back with you? I figured he'd be back with you.
No.
Oh,
No?
Yeah, it's been a while. Something must have happened, or he just had enough of us.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
But he talked to Bruce.
right.
And said that he
Yeah.
was on his way back.
Did he?
Then he must have not have arrived yet. I don't know what to fucking tell you. He left me in the middle of the field.
But we didn't see him. We walked this entire way. We would have seen him easily coming back to town.
Was he ahead of you or behind you?
I think he was ahead of me.
Huh.
Oh, fuck.
What? Okay, why don't we slow down? Tell us exactly what happened after you two left.
I killed a person.
Oh.
That's let's start from
So
the
does he.
beginning, please.
So did he. He did too. We both killed people today. That wasn't what we set out to do, but that's what we did.
How did this happen?
Unfortunately.
Oh my
It happened unfortunately.
Oh my gosh.
He's really not back.
I don't know. Do you see him here?
The fuck have you been up to?
We've been solving this mystery while you were off playing in the mud and getting our friends lost.
Wasn't playing in the mud.
All right. Well, so you found people and then you killed them.
We found...
And,
Alright, here's what happened. We were walking for a while, got lost in the fucking grass, and then we found a farmhouse up the road. We saw someone staring at us, so we snuck up. Wasn't very successful. They ambushed us. We killed people. We ran. Fell in some mud. Said really mean things to each other, and he left me.
Sounds right.
Sean, what type of day is it?
At this point, it is starting to be the afternoon. So we're looking at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Got lost in some water too, but it wasn't really there. Only I could see it, I think. But then I was in the mud again.
See, Rich, we could talk about this later, but we really gotta find.
Somebody called me a witch. Twice. I think I am.
I've been calling you a witch for.
Yeah, but it was different. I like it when you say it. It sounds like I earned it. By the way, do any of you know where you got your names? Do you know?
You think this
how
is hardly the time
names-
for that? Like, I don't know where your head is at right now, but we are missing a crucial team
I
member.
killed
There
a
is
person.
All right.
Sorry you killed someone,
It has,
but it
Septimus
happens.
just completely turned his head and just talks to the other three. He's like, do we think Jaquet is actually in danger, or did he just pout away?
Even if he
probably
pouted
is.
away, we gotta go. We have to find him.
No, he probably is because they were chasing us. So
Great.
They might have caught up to him. I don't really know.
All right.
Frankly,
should
I don't
s-
know if I really care.
We
Where
should
is this
spread
farm?
out
Where-
and
I care. about
start
it.
calling his name.
I'm not gonna spread out. Unless I have partners.
Shit.
But
Bruce,
where-
Bruce, how did
where-
you get your name?
Now is not the time. Where is this farmhouse?
I'll just do like a really like grand sweeping gesture in the direction of
Yeah,
where
you can
the farmhouse
definitely
is.
point towards where it was. He points off the road towards the north. And you can actually see from the road, well, not you, Bruce, but the other two, you can see in the distance, some hundreds of feet past the sort of sea of grass that you can all see, this sort of 6-foot tall wild grass. You don't see the farmhouse. You'd need to get some elevation to see that. But you can see the forest line with the kind of hilly forest in the distance.
I have a really dumb idea.
Fear
Actually,
smiles. Go on.
What? Well, if we know the location of the farmhouse, we wouldn't need to do this. But if we really need to find the farmhouse, one of us could take or microdose the drug.
Absolutely. That is a terrible idea.
Right, I said it was a bad idea.
I can show you where it is. I found it. I can show.
Hops-
I don't know that I can because I got lost in that fucking grass. I don't know how many times.
Septimus gestures Sal to bend down, as he'll climb on top of him, and then tell him to rise so he can get a better look, an elevation on top of him.
Okay.
Looking in the direction she pointed, do I get any better visual cues as to what she's talking about?
Give me a perception check with advantage.
Here we go, baby. That's not gonna matter. Oh, start out with a nat 1, baby. Oh, and they're fucking 2. Let's go.
What's the total?
4.
What is
Oh,
going on with
jeez.
you all? Like, I'm gonna need to let you all take the lucky feat. Jesus.
The problem is Fyrn hasn't rolled anything. That's the problem.
Can I?
This is absolutely absurd. Jesus Christ. But no,
Alex, you have something?
No, never mind.
It's because Septimus is kind of like just like, what the fuck is going on right now? And he's
Septimus,
looking, he
we
can't
know,
even look.
we know where the enemy is. We don't know where our friend is. If you think he's in trouble, then we'll know where we'll find him if he is. But if he's not there, we won't have full strength. What do you think we should do? You're the one who said we need to plan before we get ourselves into trouble. Now's your chance.
Hearing that, Septimus kind of like does take that to heart and kind of like takes a breath and he's like, "You're right. You're right." As I'll get down off of Sal, and he's like, "Okay, we don't know if he's in trouble, but he's not here. Bruce, you don't have no way of sending. I know you were able to artifice into the stone. You don't have a way of communicating
As
on your own, do you?"
it needs no. If we wait till dawn, then I can. I think the stone will have enough juice to send another message, but I don't know if we can wait that long.
I don't think we should wait that long.
we can't.
I say as I'm looking, just staring up at the sky.
Sea Witch, did they have weapons? How many were
Yeah,
there?
a lot. Yeah, they were armed, and there was a lot of them.
Sass, give me an insight check to see if you can get a rough estimate of how many you saw.
Sure. 11.
Okay, there were, I'm not going to give you an exact number, but you, in your head, you're like, there was probably somewhere between 10 to 15.
Oh my goodness.
There was a lot. There was more than 10. There was more than 10, and it sounded like a lot more than that when they were chasing us.
What time of day is it again?
I'll say approaching 2 o'clock.
Okay, so it's the afternoon.
I mean, there's a lot of them, so if we're planning on sneaking up there, we weren't really successful the first time, so we could just go and be like, we're here. Or we could try and sneak again, but I think...
But again, that's assuming that he's there, because
yeah, he's probably...
it's a fear and support.
If he's not back, he has a better sense of direction than I do.
Shit.
We don't have to. We don't have to strike.
All right. Here's what I think we should do. We know. How long ago did you two separate? Can you at least tell me that?
Oh, he's all right.
Around an hour.
And how long ago did he message you?
About an hour.
So we know within the past hour. Fyrn, the man that you had encountered outside, he headed up this way too, correct?
Right.
How long ago was that?
About 45 minutes.
So we have this window that the two of them. I say we retrace our steps and see if we see any sort of scuffle. If there's anything going on, some footprints, some kicked dirt, anything.
We're by the shrine, right?
You're pretty much pretty close to the shrine. Like if you were just to look around and just like scan the area, you would see the shrine.
Well, okay.
Is this shrine the same?
Well, no, you wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't. But
Yeah,
but if you all were just to give like a general look around after you say that, you would notice that there's, it's just the road. There's the ditch on the side of the road, and then the other side you would see a copse of trees where you would notice the little squat stone shrine.
When we say shrine, is this the same shrine that's been in every scene, or are there two different ones?
These are different.
They're different. Okay.
Yeah,
which
the shrine you saw, Sass.
Yeah.
The shrine you saw was like 30 minutes back up the road.
Okay, all right. So this is the one that Jaquet saw. We don't know
Exactly.
That, just
yeah. For above table, this is the shrine that Jaquet would have saw. Because it's roughly kind of this halfway point.
Got it.
Between where Jaquet first got out of the bushes, the grass, and the farm.
Got it.
All right. If there were a fight, I would just
picking up my hair and dropping
it. So it had to be between where we just met you here on our way back. So I think as a group, we should just scan the entire area back towards the house if we find something. If we go in and rushing at wherever this farmhouse is and whatever enemy's there, that's just the assumption that he's been taken. The best thing to do, I think, is just track it and get more information and just try to find out where he was. And so I'll turn to Sal and be like, if there was a fight, I'd imagine that Jaquet had used his crossbow. He'll direct to Sal. It's like, Sal, scan for, look around the area for crossbows or bows. Any broken debris off the road here.
You got it, Sal. And Bruce will give him a little nudge on the knee and give him enhance ability.
Nice. Okay.
Sean, while he's doing that, I would like Fyrn to, similarly to or last night when he was when he saw the blue wind, I want him to also close his eyes and say that same prayer and speak in his abyssal elemental language, and just speak up to the sky and say, spirits of the land and the sky, you've helped me once, and I wish to do what is right. Help us reunite with our friend, so we may stop what's happening to your people. Your loyal follower, what's her name? Tora, wants me, guides me to do what's right.
Okay. Fyrn, give me a religion check. Septimus, if you can give me a perception check for Sal. What's the enhance ability? What does that do?
It just gives advantage on skill
Okay.
checks. And so I would, in this case, I would choose wisdom. Or,
Perfect.
yeah, all wisdom-based skill checks.
So go ahead and give me an advantage roll for Sal for perception. He gets your perception. He gets your proficiency bonus ×2 for perception checks.
Mm-hmm. Higher one was... Wait, why did it give me +4 on that? No, it was a 16, then +6, so it'd be 22.
Excellent. So you would see Sal starts to move around, and Septimus, you can see kind of like, at first he's just looking around like a normal person would, and then you can see he does start to kind of use those scanning abilities that you've seen him use in the past. You've never quite had control over him using, but in this situation, he begins to use them, and you can see he's sort of walking around in a circle in along the road, kind of an elongated circle, where you all are in the middle, and he's kind of walks up and then walks back past you all, walks up, back past you all, steps down to the shrine for a little while, comes back up, and you can see he holds his hand out, and you can see he's holding 3 crossbow bolts. One that is different from the other 2, and 2 that look like the ones Jaquet has.
Any blood?
The 2 that are Jaquet's have blood on them.
Oh, there was a fight here. Shit. Kind of just like looking around. All right, well.
And there's no body?
Kind of like looking around.
He does show you. Sal walks and kind of does a quick gesture to follow. And he walks and he points to the ground where you can see there are drops of blood. And then he kind of starts to run his hand. He doesn't touch the dirt, but he points, and you can see very faintly, because none of you are really trackers, but Sal shows where there's difference in the earth, in the dirt, where you can see roughly the path of one person walking, a few footprints of one person walking, and clearly someone walking in a more chaotic pattern. You can see some places where a footstep is, and then one place where like the foot drags along.
Is it a paw?
Yeah.
That's right. Jaquet is got Yes, I'll say you can see clearly the difference between a boot and a more paw-like print. The paw-like print looks as though it's being dragged. As you can see, occasionally the print gets dragged along.
And the direction that drag is going towards,
Back up the road.
towards the farmhouse that
Towards
Sassa
the
mentioned.
farmhouse, yes.
All right.
How
That
far?
sucks for him.
What is? I'm not even going to engage this right now. We have to move quickly. If it was in about an hour, about how far away is the farmhouse from here? About.
It's about 15 minutes up the road. 15 or 20 minutes up the road, and then a couple hundred feet in off the road.
All right,
So you're looking at 20 minutes to get to the farmhouse. At
Yeah.
least.
Well, then this is shit. Well, then I could safely. He's already. If that's where they're going, he's already there.
Wasn't lying when I said there was a lot of them. We need to be careful.
Yeah, coming from the person that literally was not careful and left her only partner alone.
He left me.
All right. Either way, we got to come up with a plan to get him back. Now, obviously, it's probably better to people need to sleep, and it's probably better if we waited till nightfall and somehow get in there. And I don't know anything about infiltrating.
They might still be searching for Sass. If so, their numbers will be
Probably.
split. We might be able to explore the area, maybe take them out, possibly get a hostage that we could trade for him.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna really bite that.
I could.
If they really did kill two of their.
Yeah, we did. We did, Bruce. We killed 2 people. We did.
All right.
That's what we
Well-
did. One with my tentacle, him with his daggers.
Okay.
Wasn't fun. Didn't enjoy it. I could go invisible, but I need to rest first. I'm all out of magics. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know how you feel about that. Not in my right mind right now, as you can probably tell. I'm sorry.
Fyrn is gonna just hold her shoulder and look her in the eye and say, "You did what you had to do to survive. Sometimes that's not pretty. You learn now that a warrior's life is more than just a physical struggle. You must train yourself to be stronger, harder. Then you won't suffer as much as you are now."
I have a crazy plan.
By all means, I'm at a loss.
Well, do we have any way to quickly get it? What if we use this water mine and flood the whole situation, head everybody out?
You
It's
just
not
put
gonna-
it elemental.
not gonna-
That might not be a water mine anymore.
No. I have something different for that. This is, well, it's not gonna flood the area. It's just gonna, create a mound, and it's just gonna disperse over land over time, and just probably become wetlands, ruin the environment. But it might wash away some of the people. Maybe give Jaquet the ability to.
I don't know how much water we're talking, but I'm a pretty good swimmer. And I can breathe
All right.
underwater.
If she can get into the farmhouse invisibly, maybe she could leave it in there.
I don't know if it's gonna create like a sea, but it'll create
Can
a.
swim in water that's not seawater.
So it's gonna be like a fountain. I don't know
Can
if
swim in a
it'll create
fountain.
Right. I'm just saying. I don't know if it's gonna be enough water that you need to swim in. It just might be a lot of like a flooding.
That may be an option, but as I'm thinking now, if whoever it was captured Jaquet, if they wanted him dead, they would have killed him on the spot. They took him back, either for questioning, which gives us a little bit of time, I suppose. If we just go rushing in, we're just gonna end up getting ourselves captured too.
Right.
So
I have an idea. I don't know if you want to hear it though. Maybe I won't tell you. No, I won't.
No, tell us.
No.
Why not? We heard
No, what
Bruce's stupid water idea.
It wasn't stupid.
Yeah, it was
it's a
pretty.
viable idea. It's a tool that we have that could be used against him. How is it stupid?
He wanted to
It's
make a
not-
puddle.
A puddle?
And what the
Yeah,
fuck
he
did
said
you
it wouldn't
want
be
to-
a.
It's much more
He
than
just
a
wanted
puddle
to
that
make
can-
a bunch of water in a field.
What
What
if-
the fuck is that gonna do?
Okay,
I
alright.
feel... Please go, but
What if
don't make me regret it.
Fyrn is not wrong saying that they were probably looking for me? What if you three act as, I don't know why this term is popping into my head right now, bounty hunters, and you deliver me to them? It gets you inside, it gets us there.
They've seen my
to
face.
see-
I feel like they already
That's
know
right,
who we
I
are.
forgot.
Maybe the
here's-
others.
Here's
I-
what I think we should do.
I think,
I think-
only. Sorry.
You say we need to get some sort of rest and collect ourselves before we tackle on this endeavor. We've exhausted ourselves. We need to regroup somewhat. Let's head back to Torres and Davin's. Use that as a place to set up. Prepare what we need to do.
That's so far.
I'm afraid if we stay
Time-
out here,
time
we're going to
must
be
be-
ambushed. You're right.
The time is of the essence here.
How far back is it? It was half an hour, right?
To get back to Torres, yeah, a half hour.
All right, no. That's a fair point. All right, we try to hide ourselves here, take a short rest. Sal can act as watch. He's quite good at not being startled. Idea.
Hey.
Bruce,
Yeah.
the gem that you have.
Yeah.
Can I see it?
Yeah. Just don't touch it with your bare hands.
Right.
And Bruce takes it out with his.
Septimus will take out, like, use it with his mechanical arm.
Yep.
And I'll grab it. I'll hold it. It's like, what if we can use this to our advantage? This has a whole storm elemental in it. If I'm able to somehow be able to channel its power and use it, it help us fight off, or at least make a distraction for us to get in and get Jaquet out.
Messing with that thing, you might end up like Davin.
What if we sprinkle some of this adjutant on it and set it free in there?
I like that idea.
Well,
We'd still need to get up there without being noticed. Unless you can throw really far with that mechanical arm.
I think you can. Oh, you can catapult things, right?
I was just about to say.
I forgot about that.
All right, why don't we do a short rest now? Since time is of the essence, I'll start tinkering at this and kind of get a better idea or feel of how to channel energy from it. Maybe roll an Arcana check of how I'm able to do that, just to understand it more. And then when we're at full strength, we can at least try to approach. Sound like a plan?
Yeah. All right.
Aye, aye.
So I would suggest we move off the road into some of the tall grass brush. And I would instruct Sal to stay vigilant and on watch.
Definitely.
For any sort of movement or noise.
So there's a few options for where you can hide. There's so if you're looking northwest on the road, you have to your right is the copse of trees with the shrine. Not very good spot to hide. Just mentioning that's kind of our point of reference. There's a copse of trees with the shrine. To your left, the road digs down into a ditch that has tall grass in it, which is one place you can hide, kind of laying low in the tall grass.
That's the way going towards the
Yeah, so if you're looking
farm?
forward and forward is the northwest road going northwest. The farmhouse is to the north, which is your right. The left side ditch is the opposite direction of the farmhouse. That has a little basin that has a very, very tiny stream in it that you can hide in. Because the grass is quite tall.
If it's going away from the house,
Yep.
I would recommend
It's the opposite side of the
I don't want
road.
to. Yeah, I don't want to be in between. I was just avoiding in between the house and the path. So
that makes sense. That
what I
works.
propose.
The only other place you can do is, I suppose technically you could go up the road towards the the smaller hills that have the copse of trees that Jaquet was watching from.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd have to take 10 minutes or 10 or 15 minutes to get up there, and then find a good hiding spot amongst those trees. And you're closer. You would be closer to the farmhouse. So sure, Sal might have a really good eye on the farmhouse in the grasslands, but you'd be in a much more. You'd still be able to hide, but you'd be a little bit more in the danger zone.
No.
So either better perception from Sal, but more at risk, or Sal can still, will have good perception, but will have a limited view all around. But you'll be much better hidden.
Yeah, better hidden, I'd say, if it's away.
Okay.
Um,
All right. So
okay.
you all gather together in
Short
the ditch.
rest is what, an hour?
Yeah. I will usually allow it to be like 45 minutes to shave some time off of it. So I will say you have to rest at least for 45 minutes.
I may ask to forego that if I can try to roll and do what I said and kind of tinker with this gem to get a better understanding of how maybe I could, one, release it, and two, I don't know, do some sort of artificing to make it into a quick makeshift lightning thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we can. Well, how about this? We'll start the long rest, and then if you are successful, you can then suggest to your friends that you skip it.
Sean, I would also.
We're gonna go for a long rest.
I'm sorry, I meant to say short. I meant to say short
Oh, okay. I
rest.
was about to say, well, yeah.
I was gonna also forgo the short rest and continue that religion check that I.
Oh, I'm sorry,
gave
Mike. You
earlier.
meant you're forgoing the short rest in order to do more work on that. Is that what you meant?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Sorry. I thought you meant if I'm successful, then I want to have the group cut their short rest short. Never mind. That makes more sense.
They could still do the short rest, but during that time period, I'm not resting. I'm actively.
He's not gonna roll any hit die. Yeah.
I get it. I'm okay. Makes more sense. All right. So, yes, I can definitely allow you to do that, to do more active work there. And same thing for you, Fyrn, with doing more active work.
Which
with
might
your
do
praying.
nothing, but.
And then, Bruce, do you also is it just gonna be Sass taking a nap in the mud while the rest of you are all working?
Yeah, it might be. Sean, are there any dead birds nearby?
What a question.
Excited to see where this is gonna go.
I mean, there's very much so an alive robin by the shrine in the eye socket in its nest.
Oh, please tell me this is where we figure out that Bruce has like a 25 long tongue, and he does the move from the first X-Men Toad.
Yeah.
And he just cocks his head.
But you can make an investigation check for any dead birds around, or bird skeletons.
I think he would try his best to get close to the live one. Probably fail, and it would fly away.
Yeah.
Be very intrigued, and then maybe stumble upon a dead one.
So I'm gonna ask you to give me two things. I'm gonna ask you to give me a stealth check as you approach this robin's nest. While he's doing this,
Into my focus.
Yes,
Sorry.
exactly. Yeah, you see the vague shape of a bird's nest, and like you can. It's more so you're seeing the twitching and movement of the bird looking around than you can clearly see what the bird looks like until you get closer.
So I got a 1 for the stealth.
That's like the third one.
Well, it was a 2. I just have a -1.
Oh.
So while you're all starting to descend into the ditch, I imagine Sass is like immediately like finding a comfortable spot to take a nap. Fyrn and Septimus, you turn around and you see Bruce just like slowly like getting closer and closer to the shrine, and like you can hear his armor clamoring as he's just like. And then I imagine Bruce like you take like a few too many quick steps, and then the bird just flies out of the sky.
Yeah.
You can give me an investigation check now to see if you can find.
Oh, you're gonna give me that?
I am gonna give you that.
All right, because I rolled a perception.
Oh, you could do that too. You could do either.
Well, I would.
Oh, we'll go with a new investigation.
All right, cool, thanks.
What a guy.
25.
25. Okay, so you find Bruce. You find behind the like. I imagine now you're kind of like scouring around, and you do find that this seems to be like almost like a, for lack of a better way to put it, a generational home for these birds. And you do find some old bones, not too far from the nest. You can see a bird skull with some, not a full skeleton, but we'll say at least half a skeleton with the skull and some of the wing bones.
Bruce is just kind of kneel down and he's gonna just look at the anatomy of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just absorb a bit.
Yeah, imagine you using, now that you're up close, can see you kind of like are reconstructing the skeleton almost of the bird. You can see like where the wings are, and you can see clearly the skull. And it's actually interesting because you've never been this close to what a bird could look like. Like you've only ever sort of seen the vague shape of them flying with your poor vision, and then maybe the like just the pulse of activity when their feet kick off of something to fly. But this is the first time you've been able to like piece a bird together and try to understand what they look like. A few of the bones are in the wrong place, but you're starting to get a little more knowledgeable.
All right. Bruce, trying his best to be somewhat stealthy, is gonna like just kind of take some of the bones and stuff them in his backpack.
Yeah, if anyone was watching you, like they see what you're doing, but but at this point, I imagine no one's really watching you. Maybe Septimus sees kind of like you hunched over and maybe is curious what you're doing.
What is he doing over there?
But you can come back to the resting spot with some bird bones.
Yeah.
For the love of God, what are you gonna do with them?
Don't worry about it.
Guys, I made a new bird cage, which is this monstrosity little like bird bones tied together.
That was so Fyrn can put more raccoons in them. That's what they're meant for.
Okay, so I would like to get the types of roles you all are trying to do during your while Sass is napping. Yeah, and Sass, it's like not even necessarily a nap. Like you don't have to be sleeping. You could just sort of be, basically just not not using too much energy. You can be watching what they're doing. You just need to be pretty inactive.
Fine by me.
I guess an Arcana check.
Sure, go for it.
On working on this thing.
And what are you looking for specifically? Ways to use it?
I am looking for, I guess the if it's too much, then you can tell me the nature of which like the elementals contained in here, and how to kind of like break it, and essentially to release it, but in the way of like thinking like all right, if like this is the way to break it, if I can tweak it down and like do like half as much, maybe like this effect will happen or something.
Okay, perfect. I have a threshold here where you're going to like certain roll will get you a certain amount of information, a higher roll will get
Yeah.
you more, and so on.
Yeah. Could we not make this, please? Arcana check is fine.
Arcana check is fine. Anyone got any guidance or anything you can give him?
Okay, that's
all
all
out
right.
of
Too
juice.
late. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. So I will say the top bracket of this was
Yeah, sure,
figuring
it's
out
much
the
higher.
full like nature of it. I'll say you don't have a full understanding of the nature of it.
Mhm.
You do understand with the 20 two things. One, with sufficient force, you could shatter this gem, and it would fully release whatever elemental force is within it. If you test it out a little bit, you can temper that force to potentially release partial energy. So, for example, if you were to find the right amount of force to strike it with, or to have it be struck with, you can release a pulse of energy from the elemental to sort of slowly leach the energy out that might have other purposes. So, like, if you hit it hard enough, it might release a pulse of lightning magic. And then if you hit it even harder, it might fully release the wild lightning elemental within. Basically, overall, you discover there is a dynamic here. It's not just a single kind of like smash it and suddenly there's an elemental. There's a spectrum of use.
Okay. Do I know what that force allowance is?
I'll say you can test it out a little bit.
Okay. We can. We can.
So I guess what matters is what your intention here. Are you trying to determine, if you're just how, I guess this is how are you exerting the force?
I want to know how much it'll take to break it.
Okay. So
To break it, to get it to be released.
Okay.
Because at this point, with the 20 I got, the knowledge I have, and what you gave me, that's pretty cool. That like some exertion can like throw out some lightning, but I'm sure it's going to be wild and uncontrollable. So
yeah. So I would say you have a fairly good idea, and essentially, like if you were able to, one of two things, you're able to sufficiently huck it with enough force to hit a solid surface that is hard, you could break it.
Okay, that's what.
The only other way you can think of breaking it is if you literally took your hammer to it.
Yeah.
Because it just needs a sizable enough crack in order for its own energy to finish the job essentially and break it open.
Could I weaken it with a half hammer hit and then launch it potentially?
Yes.
At the risk of lightning
you would be
out.
exactly. You would risk some lightning damage to yourself, but you would absolutely be able to weaken it with a half hammer strike. You would risk taking some damage yourself, but it would make it more certain that it would shatter and release.
I will sleep on that.
Okay. Fyrn, go ahead and give me another religion check.
Sure. The first one was an 11, by the way.
Okay.
This one was a 14.
Okay. All right, so you
and yeah, I don't know if you wanted me to go into specifics or
yeah, absolutely go into specifics.
Fyrn is going to continue, he does this for a while we're resting, maybe like 20 minutes or so, and he starts off saying the same things over and over again. He's like, oh, your follower Torah wishes us to help, asks us for help. Your follower Davin, although his faith is weak, he still wishes for our help. I go through like everybody I know in town who has a name that was like given to this person from the Onomancer, and I say, my friend who came to help your town is now in trouble. I fear that he may become a victim like those of your following. I need to know if he's okay. I need your help in any way. I just keep saying things like that. I'm asking for guidance. I'm not asking for, you know, anything else.
As you sit and mutter these prayers under your breath or in your own mind, you look around and you can see your friends working as they are. You can see Septimus observing and analyzing the gem. You can see Sass sort of, I imagine Sass just sort of leaning back, maybe staring up into the sky. And a breeze kicks up. You feel the wind through your hair. I know you don't have any hair. You feel the wind through your bald head and horns.
My horns, yeah.
As you kind of breathe in, close your eyes, and open them up to the sky. And you see the clouds moving with the breeze to the north. And frustratingly, there's no direct guidance. There's just the breeze.
I open my eyes and sigh, and I look towards Saz, who's laying in the ground, probably looking up at that same sky. And I look and I see that she's not wearing her medallion around her neck.
I actually was gonna say I would have took it out, and I'm looking at it and just like dangling it.
And I think I'll just sit next to her and not say anything. Just sit and look at the same medallion she's looking at.
And as a lot of you are resting here, Bruce, what are you tinkering with right now during this break?
Bruce would probably spend after looking at those bird bones, and he'd probably be sketching in his book something. And by something, he's sketching, I feel like, the possible anatomy of a bird.
Absolutely.
And how it functions.
I love it.
I mean, he's read about them. But like this time he's actually like really curious, given the specific problem that they're currently encountering, and one of the solutions or to approach it, and then probably the latter half of the rest, he's gonna discuss with Septimus and help him in any way in figuring out what he needs to bring his idea to fruition.
Excellent. So, you all take this short rest and work on your own individual or collaborative projects. Fyrn and Sass sort of resigned to the quixotic nature of the universe as they stare up at the sky. And her amulet. And that's where we're going to end tonight. We will return next week to see if the plan you've hatched together, you've sewn together from loose parts, will help rescue Jaquet, who right now is over the shoulder of this bounty hunter, snoring loudly as he's carrying him into the farmhouse. We'll say. I sleep he's loud. All right, folks, that's all for us tonight. Oh, look who it is. We'll return next Monday at the same time, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, to explore this plan. We'll have the Power Hour this Sunday to talk about what happened this session and maybe even a little bit about what happened last session, and then we'll see what happens. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We're gonna send a raid on over to someone else in the community, share the love, and hopefully you'll join us again in Paradise in the future. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye bye.